Commissioner tells cops to ignore misguided empathy for criminals. Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake has urged members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF not to be concerned in what he describes as misguided empathy for criminal elements in society. He made the call in his latest edition of Commissioner's Corner as he recounted the tragic killing of 8 persons in Cherry Tree Lane, Clarendon, noting that more must be done to cut down criminals. While we have always been making the point that criminals are not our friends and we make no apology to pursue them wherever they hide, we must be even more stringent in the face of this brutal act of cowardice and terrorism, he noted. This is not just a call to action, but a declaration of intent, a clear message to the criminals that they now have the full and undivided attention of the JCF. He said criminal elements are too often portrayed as troubled, unfortunate youths, which usually shift the blame from criminal onto lawful enforcement. Mark my words, these will be some of the elements of the discourses in sympathy and empathy, not for the victims but for these elements of evil, Blake stated, indicating that those narratives usually manage to overshadow the voices of the true victims and their communities. The commissioner then sought to make it clear that the JCF focus is not the misleading narrative, but the task of bringing perpetrators to justice. Colleagues, these explanations are not our concern, nor are they the substance of our focus. It is our job to go after murderers and let them provide their explanation in court, he noted. Commissioner Blake then went on to note that the majority of the Jamaicans are tired of the rise in crime and are relying on the police to restore peace in their communities. This majority is depending on us, the security forces, to combat this evil and restore peace in our communities. While we remain focused on our mission, let us always remember that there are those, but in the few communities, who are major threats to the community's peace and security, he noted. It means we need to know who they are, selectively target them within the ambit of the law while winning the hearts and minds of the law-abiding citizens in the communities. Chang chides as disrespectful questions over crime reduction statistics. Minister of National Security Horace Chang has chided those who continue to question the police statistics on crime reduction. In a recent statement, the minister said doubts cast on the police crime reduction figures are disrespectful to the work of the lawmen, many of whom chose a profession out of the need to help restore order to the society and not as a last resort. This government at the very beginning of this administration indicated that crime is a priority to settle crime, but there was a need for retool and expand the police force. We used some strong legislative measures which has come under pressure from the public, but we've always accepted that we have to invest in the police, he noted. The police have recruited over 6,000 police officers in the last 5 years, young bright officers who do not see police as a job for last resort. They choose to be in the police force. They are graduates of some of the best high schools, universities, teachers' colleges, and they have joined the force to help restore order in the society. They are committed to the cause and the mission as professionals. We've proven them with the additional tools and given working space, so we're having results as we believe at the very beginning, he continued, highlighting that to seek to question those statistics now is undermining the work of the police. It is disrespectful to the police force and in the democratic society could be considered as treacherous when violence is as high as it is today, he added. Minister Chang went on to highlight that the police's method of accumulating statistics for decades and is rarely questioned when the data presented casts of bad light on the country's crime-fighting abilities. When the statistics were bad, nobody questioned it. In fact, they were highlighted and used extensively. Recent comments by anonymous individuals and highlighted by the media is disturbing because it undermines the work of the police, he said. Whatever narrow interest drives that questioning and that attempt to undermine our police. JTA calls for new approach to solving violence in schools. Jamaica Teachers Association JTA President Dr. Mark Simmet has called for a new approach to solving the challenge of violence in schools. Speaking to reporters at the JTA's annual conference in Trelawney, Dr. Simmet noted that the issue cannot be approached in silo as it is reflective of challenges in the wider society. While acknowledging that the comprehensive solution will take time, Dr. Smith said school must focus on teaching children emotional intelligence. He explained that behaviors exhibited by children at school often reflect breakdowns in homes. Dr. Smith said as such, a coordinated effort is needed to address violence in the society.
The reality is we are in a very precarious place when it comes on to the level of increased violence we've been experiencing, not only in our society, but at the school level. But we cannot disaggregate what we see happening in our schools from what's happening in our society. The children are reflecting the type of aggression that they see displayed to them in many of their communities. And so I think it really requires a macro look at this problem of violence in our society, not just violence in school. The schools are a subset of the society. What can be done in the medium to short term is to look at education not only as teaching children math and English, and of course the other subjects, but also teaching children the strong values that are so important in order to put our society on a path and trajectory towards sustainability. We need to focus a lot more on things like emotional intelligence, teaching them those skill sets. Yeah, we need to teach children a lot using strategies like social emotional learning as an approach to inculcating the type of values, the type of coping mechanisms and skills that are sadly lacking in many of our children. I know that the ministry has tried various programs, but we must have the type of urgency and the will to ensure that we follow through with this program. We started the Parents Place initiative. That is one approach, and there are so many more that are needed, but we must not at any point feel frustrated or overwhelmed by the notion that it cannot be solved. We must do everything to pull ourselves back from the abyss.
Jamaica had over 20 mpox cases during previous outbreak. Jamaica recorded 21 cases of mpox, formerly monkeypox, during the last global outbreak. Mr. Tufton noted that there has been one suspected case since, but further checks revealed it was not the virus.
Jamaica recorded its first case of mpox in July 2022. Between then and March 2023, the country had recorded a total of 21 confirmed cases. And the breakdown of this over those years would be 2022, 18 cases, 2023, 3 cases, and to date in 2024, we have had no case, even though we had one suspicion, but it was confirmed as negative at one of our hospitals.
Ordinary Tucker appointed Acting Director General of FED. The Financial Investigations Department, FED, has announced the appointment of Ordinary Tucker as Acting Director General of the agency. The appointment took effect on August 1, 2024. Tucker will serve in the capacity until January 31, 2025, a news release said on Thursday. Tucker's appointment follows the departure of Stephen Hale, who served over the period of January 1, 2020 to July 3, 2024. According to the release, Tucker brings over 2 decades of experience in management, information and communications technology ICT, cybersecurity, and digital forensics. His extensive background includes role in business system analysis, project management, and operations management within the FED and the broader public sector. I am honored to take on this responsibility and to continue the work of strengthening the FID at such a pivotal time in its evolution. I anticipate fortifying my close working relationship with our dedicated FID team. My primary areas of focus will be on implementing the necessary infrastructure and personnel to optimize our operations, increasing employment engagement, and ensuring that the FID remains at the forefront of combating financial crimes and protecting Jamaica's financial system from abuse, Tucker stated, commenting on his appointment. Tucker succeeded Hay, who leaves a legacy of significant achievements, including the successful transformation of the FID from a division within the Ministry of Finance to a fully fledged government department, the release stated. It was a privilege to lead the FID during such a critical time. It was a true team effort from the talented, committed staff, which led to the milestone and successes upon which we can proudly reflect. I am confident that Mr. Tucker, with his extensive experience and commitment to excellence, will continue to advance the department mission, vision, and goals, he stated, reflecting on his tenure. Tucker holds a Master's of Science degree in Telecommunications Policy and Information Management from the University of the West Indies and a Bachelor's of Science in Computer Science with a minor in Management Studies from the University of Technology, Jamaica. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.